So this is going to be mental gymnastics. But I think it's worth doing it. I think it's worth getting up on the pommel horse for this. You're booing Dillon Gabriel, but I don't think you're booing Dillon Gabriel when you're at the game. I think they're booing Kevin Stefanski when Dillon Gabriel comes out there.
I don't know. They've had all game to boo Kevin Stefanski. They waited until Dillon Gabriel came on the field to boo.
I know, but he's not the one calling plays. So can you boo that anymore? He's not calling the plays. So if you boo, nobody knows what you're booing at. And the game's competitive. So why are you booing?
It was weird. I got to say, it was bizarre.
It is bizarre.
That was not a good moment for Browns fans that were there.
Oh, okay. Here comes Lima shaming everybody.
Well,
yeah. Are you just not going to come to the game next week because you're afraid they're going to boo him if he goes out there?
Because it doesn't make sense. In no scenario does it make sense to boo the quarterback coming in for the injured quarterback that leaves when the quarterback coming in has been nothing but, from all accounts, a great teammate, a great person. He's never said anything bad about Shedeur or anybody.
They're not booing him. They're booing Kevin.
They were booing Dillon Gabriel.
They're not booing Dillon Gabriel.
This is mental gymnastics. You even admitted it.
I even said that, yes, but I'm telling you what it is. They're not booing him. They're booing the idea of Dillon Gabriel because it's It's seen as Kevin Stefanski's pick. He has seen as Kevin Stefanski's pick. That's why they're booing Dillon Gabriel when he comes in. I will re-screen the calls. I'm just going to. You don't need to re-screen them. I'm just going to go to you folks right now. Tell me I'm wrong. I think I'm right. Because you just said it. There's no reason why Browns fans should hate Dillon Gabriel.
But they seem to hate Dillon Gabriel.
But they seem to. And there's no reason they should really be booing him when he comes in.
Also, we saw him play with the very limited set of circumstances that Shedeur, and it's been bad. All three quarterbacks this year. Like, my question is, if Joe Flacco would have came in,
okay, they wouldn't have booed Joe.
Well, so wait a second. Come on here.
Joe has been to the playoffs, so they wouldn't have booed Joe. They might have booed Kenny. No, they might not have booed Kenny Pickett.
I don't know.
Oh, Nathan says this. I think the Brands were booing the thought of being on the goal line and Stefanski pull the quarterback for another harebrained play. You know what? They don't know what's going on in the stands.
They're not watching Shedeur walk with trainers.
They just watch Shedeur come off the field. They can't. Once you get there to the sidelines, they're all wearing brown. Mm-hmm. He might just mix in with the other people wearing brown. If you're up in the 537, I don't know if you're going to see number 12 down there.
I'll hear this. I don't know what they showed on the Jumbotron or anything.
Nathan Reed might have something there. I have one of his
because we know they have pulled
Browns victory cigars.
They have pulled Shedeur before near the goal line.
Yeah, and I think that might have been damn it. That's probably a good point. That might make a little bit more sense.
I'd like to know from the people that were there.
I just don't believe Browns fans hate Dillon Gabriel. I just think they hate that he was drafted in the third round, that he already looks like a waste.
Yeah.
That they could have drafted a wide receiver, and that wide receiver probably would have been a waste because we're talking about Andrew Berry here. But they might have drafted a wide receiver. They might have drafted another guy in the secondary. They might have drafted an offensive lineman. No, they took a guy who you came out day one, and it's like, yeah, we see this guy being a career backup. Oh, we don't need starters now. On the 3-win team. We don't need guys and third-round guys don't always start the season, but they can't be developed into starters. Okay. So that's what I thought. Nathan might have a hell of a point. Let me get to the phones here. Craig in Akron, he goes right to the front of the line. Hello, Craig. Are they booing Dillon Gabriel? Are they booing the idea of Dillon Gabriel from Kevin Stefanski, or do you think that they were booing because they thought they were just taking Shedeur off the field?
They absolutely are booing Dillon. They feel insecure of him. You say one good thing about Dillon online, you got 500 people.
That's the internet. This is real life. That's the internet. This is real life. These are real Browns fans.
Those are people, not AI, not robots. They hate Gabriel. That's just what it is.
Who hates? Who's not AI and who's not robots?
Well, I mean, you got real-life people. They have to type it. I mean, you could say the same thing about a phone.
Okay, but it could be so. It could be. No, I think that half of them are bots, and I think half of them are people that don't even live in. Aren't even Shedeur fans that live here. I really find a lot of it to be hocus pocus to me. I think I'm looking at real Browns fans, people in the stadium. Now, it was a lot of red, white, and blue yesterday. I don't think they're booing them because of what they read on Twitter. I think very few of those people care about anything being written on Twitter.
I mean, people love Shedeur, and they just feel insecure of Gabriel. That's basically what it is.
Well, there's nothing to be insecure about. He's not I don't know. I've seen
they're not going to make him the starter.
Now
they're not starting 2026 with him.
Is this part of what makes it hard next year if they were to draft a quarterback number 2 overall or trade up at number 1 overall, that there's a vocal portion of the fan base that does, even if it's still the minority viewpoint, that those people love Shedeur and only care about Shedeur. They don't really care. They're not invested in the Browns' success. They're only in it for Shedeur. And anytime that Shedeur is not on the field.
If you're at the stadium during a 3-11 season, and if you're at the stadium during 3-11 and you're surrounded by a bunch of Bills fans, you're not just there to be with 20 degrees outside. You're not just there to see Shedeur. You're a Browns fan. Mm-hmm. So those are Browns fans that are booing. And I think I think that it's so much more believable of what Nathan and AJ and Zach are saying to me on social media, even though I just said social media isn't real. I think it's more that, or they're mad at Stefanski for even drafting the guy than they are booing Dillon Gabriel. I think that that's more the case.
I just think we're to the point where we don't need to boo it at all. It's the end of the season. We're bad. Shedeur left with trainers. I mean, our fans are. I thought these were savvy fans that could kind of see. All right, he's walking off with trainers. What are they looking at? It's pretty obvious that something had happened. And plus, there was a break.
I don't think it was that obvious.
There was a break in the action before, wasn't there?
No,
because the trainers came out to get him.
No, I don't remember it being that way. I thought he just trotted off. I don't think there was that much of a break at all. I thought he just trotted off.
I would assume they're following all of Shedeur's moves no matter what he's doing.
Well, when you're out there, you're watching 12, but I think people just saw 12 jog off the field, and people were mad thinking that they took him off the field in the red zone, is what I think they thought they were seeing.
Wasn't he on the ground for a while?
No.
They showed the replay of it. He had people standing around him.
He wasn't laying there. I didn't think that. All right, let me go back to the phones here.
Do people not bring binoculars to the games anymore?
Kevin,
when you're in the 537 section, you got to have binoculars.
Kevin in Brimfield. They got a very nice shopping center in Brimfield. I think you'd like it. Hello, Kevin.
Hello. Yeah, so we're in 347, and we're on the opposite end zone. They were heading towards a dog pound, and we're like, what is going on? Why are they taking Shedeur out and putting Gabriel back in? And we thought it was maybe a gadget play or something like that, but I had no clue until I jumped on Twitter that he has a laceration on his pinky. And, so naturally, my first thought was they're trying something stupid.
No one around you has the radio feed in their ears?
Something stupid.
Well, everyone around me were Buffalo Bills fans because there's about 90% Bills fans.
What was it like yesterday? Were they fun? Were they jerks? What were they? And what was the percentage?
It was almost like a big kid versus little kid. You're going to lose. They know they're going to win, and we're just there to take the beating. And surprisingly, I dread. I'm a season ticket holder for 8 years, and I dread going to every single game. But
my God,
I do. I really do. And my son, my 13-year-old son, we take 2 of his buddies every game, and I asked my son 3 weeks ago. I said, "Are you done yet?" And he said, "No, I'm not done yet, Dad. I don't care if they win or lose. I enjoy going."
That's nice. At least he spends time with his father. Miserable, but still.
Yeah.
All right, Kevin. Thank you very much for the call. Tone, I went back and watched this. There's no trainers out on the field with him. You can see him on the slow motion because he throws it to Brennan Bates.
Yeah.
And it's a wobbler. And at first when you see it, like, oh God, he didn't get a good rip on that. Well, then you see his finger and you realize why. He looks at his finger and he jogs off, and then he's going to the sidelines. So people are just seeing and they got the blue 10 up.
Yeah,
I think that maybe some people just thought they were taking him off the field, and that they were going to do something else during the red zone.
I assumed in 2025 that people are immediately on their phones, on Twitter. Immediately, they're hearing it on the radio call if they've got it in their head, and then that gets communicated pretty quickly.
No.
You don't think so? No. This isn't 1985.
Anthony, I've been in the stadium for the games. It doesn't happen that quickly in the stands. The only thing that I think that people know before anybody knows on TV is who's eligible when they bring in heavy sets. That's it. But anything else like that going on, they don't know before us. Television usually knows way before anybody else on stuff like that.
Yeah, but you can even hear Andrew. Andrew is all over it right there.
Because they're looking up at the monitor and they can see the monitor of him coming off the field.
I know. I'm saying that guys are hearing.
You're saying it. I'm telling you what the truth is.
I see a lot of people when I go to Browns games that have their earplugs. I mean, their headphones on or whatever.
Again, it's not okay, but it's still not 1987. There's not that many people with headphones on listening, and nobody's taking off their headphones looking at the stage. No, guys, that's not the situation. They're not yelling at the rest of their section of what the situation is.
But to boo that quickly does seem...
Because they thought he was taking him off the field, or they were booing Kevin Stefanski for the thought of him.
Greg on social media, don't make excuses for the fans. They were booing Dillon Gabriel. It was a disgraceful look.
Oh, God.
You didn't see the Ravens fans booing Tyler Huntley last night when Lamar got hurt. Heath Weber, sorry, Ken Carmen. Sports with Tony is right. It's weird.
Well, it's not the most normal thing I've ever seen. It's the second time
they've done it, too, this year.
It is the second time they've done it. But I don't think they're booing Dillon Gabriel. I think that it was the first thought. If you want to sit there and try to call Browns fan disgraceful, go ahead, but I don't think that was the reason. I mean, he's been taken off the field a lot in the red zone. I think a lot of people thought he was being taken off the field in the red zone again, and they were going, what the hell? Leave him on the field during the red zone. We got to see this too. 216-474-0092. I'm going to get to you guys on this. There's lots of people who want to get on this. There's always some little thing that happens. I mean, that's a big thing. I mean, that's a hand injury.
It was just so loud.
But there's always something. Oh, it was visceral booing. I will give you that. There was a lot of rage in the booing. And that might have been the reason. Like, what the bleep are you doing taking him off the field? They've taken him off the field so many times in the red zone, Tone. And I think fans were like, what are you doing? Come on. Leave him out there. And they didn't realize that he was injured. He got that finger figured out because, boy, that was a wobbler that he threw to Bates. That should have been a nice completion. So definitely that finger was messed up. I think fans just thought Shedeur was coming off the field, and as so many people were doing, I cannot tell you the amount of calls and the amount of people who are tweeting us going, we just thought the Browns were doing something stupid. They have no faith.
There's one way to solve this.
What?
Announce Dillon Gabriel as the starting quarterback next week as part of the introductions.
Oh, God, I'll see you in hell.
And then if they boo him, then we'll know. Easy. And then you don't have to really start him. This is just to answer this argument.
I'm not. We got media people sending us. I'm not watching your movies. Speaking of media people, my buddy Josh, who he covers sports as like a side gig, you know? Because he has a very good job what he does. And he tweeted at us. Mm-hmm. And he's like, oh, if I'm at a game, I immediately look to see. I'm like, yeah, you cover sports. They don't. They're just sitting in the 300s, and they're going, oh, here we go. We're gonna outsmart ourselves again. We're going to do something stupid again. So I think they saw Dillon Gabriel come out. They didn't understand why. You don't know right off the rip. I disagree. I think that they were either booing the idea of I don't mean to borrow a phrase from someone else. The idea of Dillon Gabriel they were booing because of Stefanski, or they were booing it because they thought that they were just trying to outsmart themselves in the red zone again.
Brian on X says, the fan base had embarrassingly cheered a quarterback's season-ending injury, absolutely booed Gabriel because it's him.
May I ask a question?
What?
I tried looking up the play during the game, like when he got hurt. Was it a third down or a fourth down?
What?
Was it a third down or a fourth down that he got hurt?
Well, what does that got to do with it?
Well, because everybody is tired of Stefanski.
It was third
kicking,
down. It was third down.
Like field goals. Maybe they thought that they were taking him off and he was going to kick a field goal.
No, it's third down. So they had to run another play.
That's why I was asking.
Yeah. So it was going to be him. If they were going for it on fourth down with Dillon Gabriel, I think the fans might have came out of the stands on that one.
That's true.
Good God Almighty! You thought the last game in '95 was bad. Oh God! 216-474-0092. Jay in North Ridgeville, my former neighbor. You're next up on the fan. Hello, Jay.
Hey, Ken.
Hi.
I was just calling to add in. My dad was at the game.
Okay.
And he had no idea Sanders was hurt. I had to text him because he was like texting me frustrated. He was like, not to be negative, but he was like, are they trying to lose doing something different? So I think you're right that it was the idea of something different happening. And I had to text him and tell him like, no, his finger got really cut up, and he was like, don't send me that. It sounds gross.
It was gross. It looked nasty. So he got it. Jay, thank you very much, by the way. I appreciate that's the type. I think there's so many situations in Jay's situation where there were a lot of people they didn't know. They don't know these things right off. There's things we know about earlier in the stadium. There's things we know about way later. I think that's one of them you know way later.
It was a preemptive boo.
A preemptive boo of what? No. People booed. Get the audio ready. I'm going to tell you how it went emotionally. You can, and by the way, you guys can bring up
Siciliano was not happy on the radio call.
You guys can bring up Watson all you want. That was a different situation, and that is a totally different situation. Okay, I'm going to defend fans because I didn't think that the fans were nasty that day. The most of them, I didn't think were nasty that day, and I don't think the fans are. I think the fans were a little bit misguided yesterday because they thought the situation was different. Okay, they were misinformed, not Here it is. Go ahead, hit the clip now.
Dillon Gabriel's got his helmet on as well.
Yeah,
Shador's out. Dillon Gabriel's coming in, guys.
Okay, now they're booing just because they're seeing him come in, so they think that Shador is not hurt. They don't know Shador's hurt. Here's the boo.
And some boos coming down as well. Guys, be nice.
So this is us in the
Dillon
537 going, typical Stefanski. He's outsmarting himself. Here we go. That's what they're booing. Now let's see the play.
Right, Dillon Gabriel is in. 3rd and goal on the
Still booing.
13-7, Browns are down.
They're anticipating this.
Quarterback. He's going to go shotgun.
Here we go.
Judkins is the back. Corley motions.
Here we go.
Left to right into a 2-by-2. 3rd and goal. Here's the snap. Looking right. Coming back left. Gabriel runs and he's tackled from behind.
So they don't know Shador's hurt, and so they see Dillon Gabriel go out there. They're mad about that, and then it goes the exact way they thought it was going to go. And there's no time for them to look and see him. Like, it happens very quickly. So you're not watching the sidelines, Anthony. You're watching the red zone. You're watching what's going on. The team's about to score. Everybody watches people with the ball. They can't be looking at the side. There might have been some people looking for the sideline, but they're watching the game. And so they just see Dillon Gabriel come out there, what the hell's going on? And then Dillon Gabriel does what everybody expected Dillon Gabriel to do, which was not put the ball in danger and just basically take a sack, and then that was the end of it, and people got mad. There you go.
Looks like people are divided online.
I think there's plenty of people.
So we are at a crossroads. And there's obviously a huge element of the fan base that can't stand anything Dillon Gabriel. As if he's been some nasty, nasty guy since he's been here. It's like, it's not his fault. Nothing that happened was his fault.
You want me to go line 6?
Go ahead.
You go line 6. The Jeff Phelps special. Todd in Ward 1. You're next up on the fan. Hello, Todd.
Ken Lima. So it's reasonable to take this into consideration. A lot of those people that booed Gabriel were drunk and high. So they might have booed pretty much anything.
And everybody knows when you're drunk and high, it doesn't count.
Well, a whole lot of those folks were drunk and high. Maybe you should have looked at the concession stands beer sales before you said they were booing anybody other than them just being discontent in general. I'm in the group that says Gabriel has not got enough play yet for people to be trying to rule him out. I wanted to get that on air.
Gabriel?
Rule him out of what?
Rule him out of where?
I think Gabriel could play, and he may outplay Sanders next year.
For the Cleveland Browns?
And no, I'm not drunk and high. Let's be clear on that.
Are you sure you're not drunk and high at 9 a.m. on a Monday? Are you sure? You really believe this, Todd?
I really do. No further comment. I'll talk to you later.
Everybody needs somebody. Someone just drove down Huron Road with the door open there. 216-474-0092. Jeff and Chesterland, real quick. Go ahead.
Hey, guys. I think they were booing Dillon Gabriel. They booed him before when he got hurt.
No,
they'll boo him again.
And they, are we like the leaders of the fans booing players? It happened to Couch, happened to Derek Anderson.
Well, what's crazy is in this case, like, I get the frustrations. In the past, you could be like, well, they're booing the offense. They're booing, it's a symbol of the offense. In this case, like, Dillon Gabriel's been like the nicest dude ever. He doesn't have baggage. He's like the Watson thing we've been over to death. This isn't some guy that has, cost the Browns in big moments. This is probably a guy who should never been drafted in the 3rd round.
They were booing him, and they were booing everything. They weren't happy at all.
They just boo.
That's boo.
I'm not happy about any of this. I do see,
like, guys, these are the games where the people that can go to the games, because it's the holidays, you've got a lot of college kids home. It's not the same crowd that you would get early in the year, plus the takeover,
the
takeover by the other team's fans. So there's no doubt. You bring the Bills to the stadium, nobody's thinking playoffs. We're done. All of that is over. So it's almost like a novelty act.
Did anybody go to the game? Actually, want to go to the game yesterday? Because what are the calls on? I mean, you got that one guy, Kevin, who basically is like he's doing community service, and then you got
Says, I'm a season ticket holder. I don't even want to go to the games.
Any fun? You had the one guy who called in from Ridgeville, Jay, whose dad was there. He wasn't having any fun.
What'd you think overall? By the way, I think we had a slight disagreement on the phone yesterday. I said, Kenny, I always love to ask Ken. I go, after almost every game, I go, did you enjoy that game? And
I did.
I said I thought it was kind of a snooze fest.
I know.
And I think part of it was
I enjoyed it, but my bar was this wasn't what I teased.
Part of it was offensively, like they moved the ball, but it was like once Judkins went down, it was a running back that's probably not going to figure in prominently in the future of the Browns. It's a lot of screens. It's a lot of dink and dunks. I'm not saying those were bad decisions at all. I think he made one tight window throw yesterday, and it's like I need to see Shedeur for a full evaluation, and I know he can throw a screen pass. I know 1,000 quarterbacks can throw a screen pass. So I got to say, it was so weird to have a Josh Allen game where whatever was left of his receiving core, they were dropping any of the good passes he had down the field. They had a touchdown that was dropped. They had another one where the tight end dropped one down the field. It was perfectly placed. And I'm like, this game's kind of boring.
I just held it up for the YouTube. I enjoyed it because I got to finish all my whole notes.
Which you haven't been able to do
the entire game. Yeah. And so I questioned whether or not to take notes for this game because I knew I wasn't going to be able to take notes for next week. Well, now I might because you're going to abandon us. So I don't even know if this is going to get off the ground. But I got my notes and I didn't waste my time taking notes.
Mm-hmm.
I questioned whether or not I should, and I was like, okay, fine. You know what? You don't need to lower your standard. Take your notes, write your thoughts and everything like that, and then you can use it later. And you know what? It ended up being worth it. Like Malachi Corley had a good 31-yard return. Did you like that?
Yeah.
On the kickoff. I wrote that in the notes.
It was amazing. For a
Store
game,
that away for a rainy day.
I felt that we could run the ball on them and that there were all these lanes in the short to intermediate that were open.
Yeah.
They were giving it. We were taking it. And yet we still somehow only ended up with those 2 touchdown drives. And it felt like the Bills defense was just ready to be gashed throughout. And the fact that we only put up 20 points, I was a little annoyed by.
What feeling do you immediately get? You're probably right. My bar was terribly low. Like I think a lot of people probably felt the way you did. Because there was no really explosive plays at all, and I mean it's an entertainment business.
The screenplays were explosive in nature, but it's a screenplay.
You know what I'm talking exactly.
Yeah.
I liked it, but I think my bar again was wide. I just want to write notes the entire game and remain interested in it the entire game. Can I ask you another question here that really is more important to talk about than people booing Dillon and everything like that? What's your first feeling you get if you hear that Andrew Berry's coming back and Kevin Stefanski isn't? I don't know anybody on the phones or online or anywhere that feels good about that.
Nobody?
No. I'm not getting it. And even I question it because I'm going, man, it's been a rough 6 years here drafting. I mean, 1 out of 5 is still, it's not great. It's not great. 1 out of 5. And then you're putting, guys, we're getting close to complete rebuild in so many places. And we say, well, we need this. Put more pressure on them to get these picks right next year. Like, does it almost feel, I got to ask people, this is a big question, not just for a week 15 or whatever it is against after Buffalo. This is a big time question you have to ask yourself. Does one draft mean you trust him enough? If you were already like on the questioning, and I like Andrew personally, but I just got to be honest with everybody here. This makes me have confidence in the future other than hope, because I think we're hoping more than we are expecting. There's so many things that you have to fix. We're thinking he's going to get those right. That's going to happen. Maybe it took 5 years to get the process down about drafting guys. Maybe that's it. Maybe it took 5 years to be able to scout guys the right way, and we are on our way to an embarrassment of riches here. But do you believe in this philosophy in terms of getting players? Because there are guys they've taken. They do have talent, but are they the right fit for the type of football team you want? Because that line of thinking, hey, you can switch out the head coach, but that line of thinking isn't going away. The process-driven sort of, or the data-driven, I should say, instead of data-informed, as somebody tweeted to us earlier, that's not going away. That means that's driven. That means you're going to get guys who might pop off the page when it comes to what they do in tests, but are they going to do anything on the field? You got to seriously consider that, because this might be a much bigger issue than we're making about it. Like, I think some people might just go, yeah, you need a new head coach. You're going to get a new head coach. Okay. I think there's a lot more people out there going, well, you're only going to switch half? So what type of coach are we going to get? Are we just going to get more of the same? Because if you're going to make a switch, you make a switch. You don't make a switch, get more of the same.
You also want a strong head coach. And I just can't imagine them. And I don't. We're going to have to go over the names. And you've got the envelope.
Are we getting quality people, or are we just trying to preserve our power? That is another concern that a Browns fan should have.
Yeah, and we said coaches that win 6 games in 2 years lose their job almost 100% of the time. So do GMs. GMs always lose their job when that is the case, especially when it looks like there was no long-term planning at some critical positions.
Well, who also encouraged to go out and get Deshaun Watson, who's turned into a complete and utter mess. I know who guaranteed it, but who was the idea in the first place? Well, if it was that idea in the first place, then we're not holding people accountable then. And if we're still doing more of the same, what are you going to do? Now, I've seen some of the decisions, and even though I disagree with some of them, I would say that he's done what he believes is in the best case of the franchise and not to preserve his own power. Talking about Andrew. But this would be a concerning thing, because somebody else from seeing this from the outside, remember, Kevin is well thought of in NFL circles, no matter how little you think of him in Cleveland. As mad as you are, Kevin is still very well thought of in NFL circles. You heard, I'm going to point this out. I know we got to go to break. Give me a couple minutes here. Mike Tomlin, I believe in that press conference, spoke on Kevin's behalf. Mike Vrabel, the trick plays, I think he's telling you he ain't got nothing to work with. I think that he was speaking on Kevin's behalf. You heard Bruce Arians speak about this team and about what this team is. And he's been critical of Kevin Stefanski on the other side of that. So you have a couple of differing opinions there. But you have people in this league who still think very highly of Kevin Stefanski, who think that this is an organizational thing. It's not necessarily Kevin. And they might end up being wrong about all this. But whoever's coming in, they're going to have that thought process of, I got to fix this whole thing, and I can't let what happened to Kevin happen to me. And if you're going to leave in half of those people, you already have that argument set up for you. You'll have your introductory press conference, and everything will be kumbaya, and he'll win. Whoever they get it will probably win the press conference, even though it's going to show guys who don't win the press conference end up winning later on. He'll probably end up winning the press conference, but you know as a Browns fan, you have to have that in the back of your head going, was this made for preserving power, or is this something that's going to turn into another bleep show where this guy's going to come in and have to usurp power from Andrew Berry, and then we're already set a draft behind, because the reason you would take power away from Andrew Berry in 2027 is because 2026 didn't go so well. That's a very scary thought. Because the one thing you can't have happen as a Browns fan, you do not want more of your time wasted. You've already had enough.